Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to discuss being pregnant in federal prisons. And a lot of what I'm going to review centers around the work that Carolyn Suffren has done at Johns Hopkins University. So being pregnant in federal prisons, this newsletter comes actually from LinkedIn, and I cover issues pertinent to federal sentencing, the brief sentence report, and BOP placement topics, covering medical care, medication availability, etc. But let's get to it. Women in prison and jails in 2017 who were pregnant and when admitted in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, in case you can't see this, 470. 3% went to 3% of the numbers went to federal prison. 4% were in state prisons, 3,950. And lastly, 5% of women were in local jails, totaling over 5,000. So whether you're going into a state or federal prison, all pregnant inmates have a constitutional right to obtain appropriate medical care. To the extent that prison policies address pregnancy-related issues or services is one indicator of how that facility, state, or federal agency treats pregnant women in its custody. I'm going to cover now federal prison policies today. Dr. Karen Suffren, MD, with a PhD at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, has developed and covers she has a website called Jailfare. I believe that's what it's called, Jail Care rather, as well as, and let me open this up for you, Advanced and Research Reproductive Wellness for those that are incarcerated. And it's a whole website that you can go on your own, wrrwip.org. And it goes through everything that they're about. It covers their team, their reflections, their work publications. Let me just pull up the publication component, journal publications, early shackling pregnant care policies of prisons and jails, mental health, chronic and infectious diseases, female pertinent contraceptive policies. There's a lot here, but you can, on your own, you can go to the website at arrwip.org. Back to jail care. Suffren founded jail care, which is it's a safety net for women behind bars. Jail care is a moving and galvanizing story of pregnant women in jail and those responsible for their health. It is essential reading for anyone who cares about women's justice or children. And this is from Piper Kerman, Orange is the New Black author. This is the YouTube that if you're on my LinkedIn site, which I will include, you'll be able to see that for yourself. Dr. Suffren's contact numbers are 410-550-0337, and they also have an appointment phone number. And this is essentially the jail care book. Introduction. Incarcerated pregnant people within a 12-month period, and here they collected data from around the country. From 2016 to 2017, statistics collected on pregnancy outcomes for all federal prisoners and a sample of state prisons and a large number of jails in the United States represented 50%, 57% of the females in prison and 5% of the females in jail. Participating prisons and jails reported aggregate data on a monthly basis for 1 year. We have here in the dark purple are state corrections. So we come a little further. U.S. prisons, 4%. 1,396 were those that were admitted that were pregnant. U.S. jails, 3%. 1,600 were admissions were pregnant. Pregnancy outcomes in prisons during this time period was live birth 753, miscarriages 46, abortions 11, stillbirth 4, ectopic pregnancy 2. Pregnancy outcome in jails then, and this is a little bit different, 144 live births, 41 miscarriages, 33 abortions, 2 stillbirths, 4 ectopic pregnancy. Approximately 117 pregnant people admitted to state prisons also had an opiate disorder. And for those that were admitted to jails, 50 had a substance disorder there. A significant percentage of women entering prison are of an age where they're sexually active or either at risk for pregnancy or already pregnant. In 2019, study reported that a total of 4% of women in federal custodies were pregnant and 753 gave birth. Most women entering prisons are mothers, as well as primary caregivers of young children. It would be helpful if facilities, federal and state, made a conscious effort to recognizing the resultant psychological difficulties that result when forced separation occurs following childbirth. While it's a lot to ask, creating areas for new mothers to pump breast milk for their infants and then having that place in order to store it goes a long way in allowing them to establish their relationship with their new child at a minimum. The National Commission on Corrective Healthcare, NCCHC, has set standards for pregnancy-related healthcare in correction settings. They have a post-pregnancy and postpartum white paper, a restraint for pregnant inmates position statement, a breastfeeding position statement in correction settings. All this links to their website, so you can get their information on your own. As well as they have standards entitled State Standards for Pregnant-Related Healthcare in Prison and Standards for Pregnancy-Related Healthcare and Abortion for Women in Prison. AOG is the specialist in obstetrics and gynecology, where they've said that the use of restraints on pregnant incarcerated women not only compromise health, but is rarely necessary. And so if we pull this up, I've checked these already. And this took you to the wrong site, so I have to fix that. That is wrong. Let's see if this one goes to the right side. Yes. And so it's bringing up results to reproductive health care of incarcerated patient, postpartum, and non-pregnant individuals, COVID, public health considerations, but it's all dealing with pregnancy. It's not good. Okay. Then we have the American Public Health Association has similar documentation, the Associated of Women's Health and Obstetrics neonatal nurses. I can open this one up for us. And again, all of these links go to these professions' website. They are positioned on nursing care of incarcerated women during pregnancy and the postpartum period. So all of this is available. And if you go to my LinkedIn, which I'll have up throughout this article, you'll be able to touch on these on your own. Correction officers are also integral in carceral care or in the system. They are the key personnel in the successful implementation of policies and procedures that support maternal and child health care. Policies of pregnant women in prison. While their primary responsibility is maintaining safety and security, some acknowledge they also wish to support MCH policies and programs, for example, DRULA. This could change the paradigm, providing positive outcomes for pregnant inmates and following long-lasting bonding experience with their newborns. Federal. While on-site nurseries are not available, they do have limited off-site programs. MINT is Mothers and Infants Together. And this is on the GAO report, Government Accountability Office. And I'll show this to you one time now. Page 79. Let me wait for this to load. And you'll be able to come to this on your own. And over here, we're going to come down to page 79. And they will be somewhat out of order because they cover the front page. 77, 79. Let's see, what is that? Medical is covered by no Marshal Service contracts. Let's see, what page is this? 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79. So here we open this up a little bit brighter or bigger. And so this is their appendix. I'll make it a little bit smaller here. For Mothers and Infants Together and Residential Parenting Program. This goes through the MINT program, which I'm going to go through momentarily, which allows mothers to give childbirth in the prison setting. So RPP, or Residential Parenting Program, is also several pages later. So it's a good thing. Would be a good idea to go to this website once you're in my LinkedIn page and see what there is to offer. Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General, review of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, management of its female population, evaluations and inspections. 1805, Washington, D.C., December 18. This is the MINT program here, which is what the nursery program, what these programs are. I added to the top residential parenting program in Washington State Department of Corrections because they provide up to 30 months. And so your contact person here can be Sanjay Ali, Correctional Unit Supervisor of the Washington Correction Center for Women, Washington State Department of Corrections, 253-858-4200, extension 8274. So they provide up to 30 months. But now we're going to go through some of them here. Hartford House in Hartford, Connecticut. They can provide 5 mother inmate pairs. This is the direct duration of study is three, or rather, stay is 3 months. Tallahassee Mid Program in Tallahassee, Florida, with 10 mother-infant pairs is a 1-year program. Women can be moved into this facility from any federal prison in the country. No restriction on the length of the woman's sentence for participation was reported. Triangle Care Mid Program in Springfield, Illinois, 4 months, 4 mother-infant pairs. Is this for 3 months? Women that's this program from any federal prison facility in the country, the mothers receive 3 months of prenatal care, then 3 months of mother-child bonding. The Triangle Center has relationships with several community-based services, and the women are allowed to leave the facility with an escort to take advantage of those services. Volunteers of America, Fort Worth, Texas, allows 20 mother-infant pairs. The women here may be transferred again from any federal facility. However, most come from the Federal Medical Center, Carswell. So that's important to note. And then there's Greenbrier in Hillsborough, West Virginia. This is probably the one that people are most familiar with. And this has 20 mother-infant pairs. And again, women can come from any facility in the country. The mother's sentence cannot be longer than 15 years to participate. This site offers the most extensive program. So we're going to continue. And then here is the link to the Government Accountability Office. You can click on that on my website. It'll actually give you the actual program. An interview with Assistant Federal Defender on the site, page 82 at the bottom, where they found a lack of information and communication about MINT programs for pregnant women facing federal prison. And this is, they said, is problematic. Specifically, as pregnant women await sentencing, they do not have a sense of what to expect or the decisions they need to make in terms of medical care or custody of their infant. The Bureau of Prisons was not forthcoming with any substantive information about how to initiate the approval process for MINT participation while the defender's pregnant client awaited sentencing, despite they and their judges' efforts to contact the BOP and MINT programs. They make it very difficult. The views expressed by the federal defender are their own and do not represent the views of the administrative offices of the U.S. courts. Mothers and infants program together. We're about to go through that. And again, this is pages 21 to 141 on the GAO document. The BOP allows eligible women to enter BOP during the MINT program during the last 2 months of their pregnancy. They can stay at least 3 additional months after giving birth. So I'm going to showcase a couple programs here. Fort Worth, Texas, Mothers and Infants Nursing Together MINT program is in Texas. Contact is Little House, and you can just go to the website there for MINT women and their babies. Volunteers of America, Fort Worth, Texas. Here's the phone number, 817-535-0853. This is the link to the Bureau of Prisons Pregnancy Program Statement, which is the law that they cover. Let me see something here. If residential reentry center placement is medically appropriate and documents this on the medical psychological pre-release evaluation form, which is right here, this is then forwarded to the unit management. Direct court commitments have a secondary designation noted on the inmate load and security designation form. That is BOP 08337. They also have residential reentry centers for men. Here they work to reduce recidivism and the stigma for children born to incarcerated parents by enhancing the bond between the mother and infant while teaching women how to care for their infants and be better citizens. And so these are just pictures. I'll make this a little bigger here so you can see. And so they try and create an environment that is conducive. Women have weekly check-ins with a nurse and are taken to outside facilities for prenatal care. The program holds up to 6 women at one time. They usually have approximately 2 or 3 participants at any given time and approximately 10 participants annually. The women typically stay 3 months after delivery postpartum, and BOP officials noted that women may request an additional 6 months extension. And here is the LinkedIn page, or rather the page to their program statement, 5200-02, change notice 1, page 16. When interviewing GAO staff, when interviewed by government accountability staff, these women stated they receive regular medical care, including any special care needed and any special accommodations requested. The mothers then return to an institution to complete their sentence if it's necessary. Second is Greenbrier program in West Virginia. Contact it's operated under the Baltimore Residential Reentry Office in Baltimore, Maryland. Appalachian Mountains in the Pocahontas County, Hillsborough, West Virginia. Director was, at the time of this printing, Starla Robertson, case manager Susan Lane, or Mary Eggert. Their phone numbers 304-653-4882 and 304-653-4570. The BOP the BOP Female Offender Manual, of which we're discussing here. This was updated. That was an older one. This is an older manual, which I've linked. This is the more current manual, 5200.07 as opposed to 50.02, which is an older copy of the program statement from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And program statements for them is their law, how they rule. If residential reentry center placement is medically appropriate, documents this on, again, the medical psychological pre-release evaluation form, BP A0351, which is forwarded to units management. Direct court commitments can have a secondary designation noted on the inmate load and security designation form, BP A0337. And this is just an image of the facility. Here they promote maternal bonding and parenting skills in a home-like environment. There is no medical care provided on site, mental health care, and offers on-site services twice weekly, and women are taken outside for facility prenatal care. The program has 10 staff and can hold up to 20 women simultaneously, has approximately 10 participants at any given time and 20 annually. The women typically stay up to 3 months postpartum, and BOP officials noted that women may request again an additional 6 months extensions. The GAO staff interviewed again women who stated they received regular medical care, including any special care where needed, and any special accommodations that were requested. Woman stated that she appreciated the welcome basket she received upon arriving at the Hillsborough Mint program, which contained donated items such as toiletries for the women and infant clothing and accessories. The mother is then returned to the institution to complete her sentence again, if necessary. Third is a residential parenting program at Washington State Department of Corrections. Contact is Sonia Ali, Correct Unit Supervisor, and phone number is 253-858-4200, extension 8274. And I provide their email here. Picture inside the program. Again, to the Bureau BOP program statement notice 5200.02, which 04 is now current. Unit team completes the BP 080010 institutional referral for CCC Community Corrections placement and submits it to the Seattle Residential Reentry Center manager. And I have included their email. Furloughs are only accepted Tuesdays through Thursdays at the RPP, residential program. I'm not sure what RPP stands for. Release residents can be from any state. The Designation Sentence and Computation Center may also refer initial designations to the Seattle Residential Reentry Manager with a copy of the Female Offender Branch Administrator. The Government Accountability Office, in their form, page 82, teaches parenting and infant-child bonding to incarcerated mothers only. The pregnant women who have 30 months or fewer left on their sentences can participate here. The goal is to have the child leave prison with the mother as she re-enters the community through work release. Eligibility and mandatory requirements. Only women who are pregnant upon arrival may be eligible to go there. Inmates are screened carefully, and participating criteria include pregnant upon commitment with an expected delivery date before release, be scored at a minimum security without or community custody, have release dates or home detention eligibility dates within 30 months of the expected delivery date. There have been no more than 200 or higher serious incident reports in the last 6 months, have satisfactory or higher work evaluations available, be clear of all serious disciplinary violations of an aggressive assault nature, have no current or no contact orders with minor children, no sex offense convictions, no crimes against a child, no domestic violence or other violent convictions, and no contact founded allegations or inclusive referrals for neglect or abuse of a child with protective services. Be physically and mentally capable of caring for a child as determined by medical and mental health staff. Volunteer and acknowledge program participation entails involvement in prenatal and postnatal programming related to parenting, use of the Child Development Center, and approved inmate caregivers, and maintenance of a schedule. Participants are required to get involved in pre and postnatal programs such as parenting skills, child development, self-care and esteem, positive discipline, nutrition, and family life skills. Structure their various commitments to accommodate the needs of their children. Utilize the Child Development Center and approved inmate caregivers. Work with the facility staff to develop a case plan to address their programming needs, including programming requirements. Participation in educational components that teach positive and effective parenting skills. Give children care that focuses on their development and educational needs. Goals: provide a safe residential setting that will allow infants and their incarcerated mothers to remain united, ensure a secure, healthy attachment that's formed between the mother and the child, maximize the infant's healthy growth and child development, and educate mother in the skills to effectively parent and work toward self-sufficiency. On a lighter note, I love this picture. To all mothers that are still reading this, thanks for your time, and subscribe and share my article on LinkedIn with other caregivers and other attorneys, should you be an attorney listening to this. And I'll end by saying I believe that the responsibility for clients' medical and physical health should be safeguarded to protect them from themselves and others while providing a safe environment for the duration of their incarceration. Ultimately, this responsibility falls to the court, defense team, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to listen in today, and thank you very much for have a safe day, and thank you for sharing, for listening in, excuse me.